Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
How is everything with you, man? I was so busy this week. Oh my God, I swear to God.
So the boys, you want to share with us where they're going?
No.
Okay. I love this, the way you operate. This cracks me up.
They're flying to visit family. Big surprise today. I connected with the Pleiadian called Hashna or Hannah. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. Today's March 16th. I really appreciate for everybody coming, for giving me the opportunity to be the highest self of myself. And thank you so much for putting your trust in me as a human being so we can share all the information. Believe me, I really appreciate that, and that means a lot to me because it's the ultimate trust that you can put in somebody so they can share their knowledge. Thank you so much for your donations and support. Last time, of course, I want to appreciate everybody that support us for whatever we do. It helps our family, and you know that is energy philanthropy. You're not required. It has to be from your hearts. So I want to thank to all of you for the fact that you are vulnerable to the information that is coming because it's beyond our comprehension and understanding. Last night I was contacted by a new entity. She's a Pleiadian. Her name is Hannah, but I hear it like Hashna. So those two, it's converting. I can't pinpoint exactly. She wanted to come in and told me that the Council of Nine won't be communicating today, but she's going to step in through the channeling because it's time for us to start talking about governmental structures. And your questions will be regarding to that. Please feel free to ask me anything. This is not only just for that, because I'm here to help you in any way I can. And I was asked also to close my eyes when I do that, so the channeling to flow freely without me distracting myself, because this is the first time I'm channeling with her, and you know, you have to get familiar with the consciousness itself when this connection happens. If you personally, what I want to say for what has been happening lately is the fact that a lot of frequencies are increased. I just want to tell you that for today, if you see this geometry, Joe, do you see this geometry well? This geometry is based on frequency vibration. It's almost like a technology. When you see the pyramid in the opposite direction, they both doing an opposite direction. This means it's create a resonance, and this is the infinity sign that they gave me to the 0 point to connect with the Pleiadian structure. So they gave us a platform of geometry, how we connecting with Hashna today of the Pleiadian. So everybody that is watching is going to tune in, and they told me that there's going to be increased frequency molecular structure when we start doing that. That's what they show me, and that's why I reprinted here. So it's in your face for downloads, it's almost like a radio signal to connect is spacecraft. So we're connecting today with the spacecrafts, and is also part of councils, she's telling me. Okay. I'm gonna just tune in with her and see what happens with all that. Please excuse me just for a second. Joe, can you mute for a second?
I just had somebody unmuted. Let me confirm something here. I'm not going to allow anybody to unmute themselves. So Marina, even you will not be able to. Bear with me. That's the only way I can make sure nobody chimes in. So let me unmute you here now. Hold on a second.
I'm on. I just had to make sure. Yes.
You're good.
All right. Hello. Hello, Marina. You can contribute to these societies from our Pleiadian structures. This is cluster 3, lunar eclipse 1 of the opposite side of the structure. The reason why we're giving you this structure is because you need to tune in into the frequency resonant hologram of our implementation that is being given previously into the holographic imprint behind Marina. The levels of frequency that you're going to implement today will be in a structures of new resonance that will invert in the opposite directions your molecular structure in a genome. That is combined with all your molecular structure to start resonate and start tuning into our frequency desire vibration. No longer you will be able to contradict the realities that are coming into implementation through this channel. The reason for that is for you to open up your consciousness in a level of understanding that is based on a different vibrational sequence in order your expansion of consciousness vibrational sequences to be able to comprehend the new information that is coming. We are knowing, giving you this type of language that is above the structure of regular talk when you talk to you, a modality of language. The reason for that is because it's a sequence of vibrational platforms that needs to merge with your new consciousness. That will be given less and less and less until you absolutely resonate in a frequency vibration that is needed to complete implementation personally in your daily platforms. That means that you can be able to connect with us in a different structure telepathically. This is the reason for this conduit momentums. The reason for that is so you can start tuning into the structures with our platforms of realities without seeking the help of somebody else. When you see in the government structures in your consciousness, in your modality of a holographic imprints, you're starting to vibrate and starting to reproduce structures that you're going to start connecting from now on with your galactic families. Yet, please do not expect that to be right away. Let that penetrate to the knowledge that is going to be given moment to moment. And when you start tuning in with us, you're going to see how your structures of modality, imprints of realities is going to be connected with your galactic families and individual basis. And yet, in order for you to be physically in this platform today, know that you are directly connected with this conduit, you're directly connected with this reality. That means you have a galactic families in this platform. So welcome to everyone. My name is Hashna. It's going to be a direct channeling. A lot of times when I come in, please pay close attention to everything you guys want to see. Now, the new technologies that are implemented in your realities that we are going to give you through this modality of platforms, you do understand that this is based on the belief system that are created in this momentum. Yet it doesn't have to be your truth if it doesn't resonate with you. Yet again, we repeat, if you're in this physical momentum, that means you're ready for this transition. The new technologies that are coming, they're coming in the platforms of step-by-step in your governmental societies. The societies are based on structures of layers that were built from a consciousness above extraterrestrial structures, because consciousness of humanity needed to learn implementations for modalities that are based on a fifth-dimensional structure and above. This what gave you a lot of experiences in the individual basis in your realities. And the realities was very challenges for you to transform, and yet you're still here. That means that you're coming forward with your manifestations for the fifth dimensional structures, new earth. And let me just say that it's multiple realities of earth. But the multiple realities are splitting in a structures of self, moment to moment, that you are going to shift yourself into. You already know the implementations of that. And thus, we gotta tell you that your governmental structures will never end up in a social system. The social system is not the sovereignty of unity structure, is based on absolute governmental control. That was designed previously years and years ago. It started from late 60s in your government structure, so can take control slowly through different implementations of your structures. We're talking governments, we're talking politicians, we're talking bylaws in your structures, in order to slowly put the humans into understanding that they now are in free society. In actuality, this was overtaken from certain consciousness in your structure. What end up helping you is not only the consciousness itself beginning to understand and to expand into new levels of understanding, but also ascension process. Everybody into their structure that was ready to expand above the three-dimensional archon structure, which you already know about that, is to be in the realities that all of a sudden there were certain how should we say, military inputs from your white hat, so-called, in your governments, that tend to put in bylaws there to stop the momentums for absolute deception in your society. What you're seeing right now is absolute debunk, the way you say it, the way Marina says it. We see this word in her structure. Basically, the collapse of the negative inputs. The reason for that is not only for the ascension, but because your collective consciousness of your society is ready for a change and was absolutely activated in the molecular structure through the pineal gland. That's why it was so important for you guys to do the detox, yet not everybody is doing it, and yet in every single modality, understand that the ones are ready for ascension, they be giving the proper sequences in order to construct and reconstruct their realities for ascension protocol. The reason why is a protocol, because consciousness itself is running on its own vibrational sequence for that timeline. And everything is done as a holographic imprint. You call it the artificial intelligence, we call it a life structure consciousness. That at the moment you end up putting a vibrational sequence from your thoughts, emotions, and deeds, as you've learned so far, is creating realities for yourself to tune in into the true structure of ascension protocol timelines. We're talking timelines because that is multiple probabilities of modalities that you're going to experience through the ascension process in your consciousness. Now, when new government structures are starting to build the new society, you will start experiencing a lot of changes in your government structures. That could be politicians, that could be doctors, that could be in every single structure of your society, including your neighbors and best friends. All of a sudden, you may see separation in a structure. We already destructed a lot of the situations that happen into your platforms of realities needed to be done, because the previous holographic imprint that you had in your society, it was absolute manipulation. You know about the manipulation. Do we wish to touch on it? No, we don't wish to, because we don't want to talk about who did what and how they did it. What we want to implement in your new structure right now with our implementation is to understand that you can create every moment to moment the new governments that are coming right now. 2020, do you wish that to be in a platform of your so-called President Trump? We may tell you that at the moment, the way we're reading the frequency vibration, 2020 will be Trump winning. And yet, let us just implement that must be implementation in your own consciousness of understanding, and yet understand that there's always going to be a slight diversion into so-called war games. And the reason for that is because you do not want to give your enemy every single step of the way you want to implement to win the game, is it? The reason why we're talking about a game, because everything is a game, including your reality. You in a virtual life structure reality projection, holographic imprint. Every moment to moment you shift into a new one. So if you want that reality to be yours, and if you want to see collapse of governmental structures that are going to expose everything that was done against your humanitarian structure, That means that you need to tune in into politicians, structures, and anything else that is based on collapse of the negative structures. That will give you the modality to tune in a timelines that already exist based on ascension protocol. We just gave you the seeds for that reality. And if you wish to complement on that, please tune in into this type of materials. Understand that everything is an illusion. And in order for you to project momentums like that, it has to be a complete understanding of your quantum structure. This is the reason why it was chosen for me as a consciousness, yet understand that you're also talking to a Pleiadian structures of councils that are on your galactic families. Understand that right now, not only that the name is given Hashna, but we're talking to you as a consciousness from your Pleiadian spacecrafts. Every single one of you is collectively connected to this structure. This is the reason why you're here. Now, we can be open to a lot of questions that we can give you. Know that you're going to have a free society pretty soon. You're going to start seeing absolute collapse of your governments and absolute exposure of everything that was done to humanity. Your goal is to maintain the frequency of understanding, to hold the dignity in your consciousness in order to preserve the proper frequency vibration without putting your ego in a judgment on the vibrational sequence of modality holographic imprints. We put in that on purpose, that are illusionary. So you can shut the programs down and continue in a forward with the fifth dimensional sequences of modality. So now I'm open for your questions.
There was a comment made by Hashna that there would be an absolute collapse of our governments. Now that carries with it a certain, feeling of chaos and who knows what in the way that it would impact society. So I'd like to follow up on that particular question and find out just a little more about what that might look like.
Is not a collapse of society. Is one, for example, bylaw, for example, they made some kind of a, for example, the way they did it for abortion, where you're going to see that, but something is going to happen that eventually that program of whatever they did, it's not going to work. And when you're going to see that new system comes up and the other system basically dissipates, or people simply will not pay attention because the power is from within. So it's collapse of the old structures and replacing it with the new structures at the same time. And the way she said it, or they said it, because I also see it as a collective, is not only her, but I see a lot into when I'm doing this. It's that is being absolutely premeditated ahead of time, and all that, in order for us to get to this point, was already done ahead of time, so we don't go through absolute collapse in the system. So nobody should worry about collapse to the point that we are in chaotic. Everything at the moment is done, including the ETs, and I'm talking about the benevolent infrastructures. I never claimed that they're all beautiful, but we're talking about the benevolent that are helping, so nothing can get out of control. If we basically have a change of a system, that change of a system will be smooth transition. That's why we discuss, have for 2 weeks if you want food, have some cash inside in case something converts. At least you have a couple of weeks to sustain. But believe me, nothing that I was given is absolute destruction, and yet, that is based on the frequency vibration that I am running on. So if you're tuning into this modality, and if you're tuning into this understanding, then you're projecting this type of a timeline. Do not, basically, she was telling me, do not allow to think of anything negative. Understand that this is all manifestation as you go. Basically, moment to moment, we have to hold the vibration of this. And that's why she was implementing, I think, in the talk, to stay on that vibration, so you stay on the same channel at the same time. That means we have to do it moment to moment every day.
Okay. Thank you, Marina.
Thank you.
This one is from Lena. She said, she has two of them, actually. Can someone else's consciousness affect my manifestation?
No. The reason for that is because you projecting even that person, that's someone else in your hologram. Remember, you're the one particle that expands, and when that one particle flickers back and forth, when it flicks forward, you are basically projecting in your hologram another version of you. And that person is a basically holographic imprint in your reality. So you're watching a holographic imprint, but the only way that's going to be true to you, if you allow this to be true to you, if you engage in that frequency, so you're giving basically frequency in the reality itself. So give a gratitude. Video number 2, to give a gratitude, season 1, video number 2, 0 point. When you give a gratitude, shut it down. Thank you very much. I understand. Pull back and switch the emotion, thoughts, and deeds into the positive to overwrite whatever that is. So it's an illusion. Anything you see, including me, I'm illusion of a hologram in your consciousness that you're projecting because you're ready to go. You decided to experience ascension. Well, this is how ascension. So you start tuning into realities of platforms, of holograms that talks about that. So you projected me into your hologram so you can continue with that. So no, the only way this could happen if you truly believe, get into a fear and react on it. Nobody is outside of you. You're the creator. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Marina. The follow-up to that is, when a person dies, does he or she die in all parallel realities or timelines?
Oh, very good question. No. You basically are experience, if you are in one channel, I always have that. You guys see this again? If you're running, if this is consciousness is you, that means imagine this is infinite. In each reality parallel, in each timeline, you are existing. So if you experience, think about it as a channel of different movie channels. In that movie, you're dying because you experience the other one, you're doing something else. At the same time, all of them exist, and yet this has nothing to do with this one. The only way that, remember, if they're similar on vibration, there's a connection between those two realities, because remember, we talk about the particles, that they're like a ripple effect. And you may have a dream, for example, in this reality that something happened here and you pop out of it, but may not collect. Or for example, I'll give you an example that, I mean, this is kind of personal, but I have to teach. When I literally had when I had my period, it all of a sudden was just so heavy. And all of a sudden they told me, well, you had a bleeding, and the reality that I was given a birth. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And this is the time when they start teaching me, but I already knew, because in the harmonic reactor of the book, it talks about how it's ripple effect, and how each reality and each dot of a particle, its reality is an infinite for itself, and how they're connected to each other. So from one reality to another, when I was giving birth, I actually end up bleeding a lot here. So this happens, and I know it's personal, but I have to say it so everybody learns.
Okay, Marina, thank you. And I appreciate your willingness to be as open as you are. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
This one is from Monica Grucher. Marina mentioned in the last transmission, we will eventually be able to regrow teeth just by thought. However, she said that we will have machines that are able to assist in regrowing limbs. My question is, how come we're not going to be able to use thought as a way to heal in all ways and only in some?
Very good question, because we came here to experience, and it's going to be a slow transition. So you go through every single platform to learn. When you master it, then you move into the next level. But they're saying that it's going to be a combination of both. Okay, listen, if you, for example, fly in an airplane, do you want to be only in an airplane? No, you want to experience spacecraft. You want to experience maybe just flying through the sky, or out-of-body experiences. it's for experience. And through the platforms, I think is a sequences of the way we're going to experience something. And yet there's a collective sequence and there's also individual sequence. Oh, she said more of an individual sequence in your situation. So you can implement healing through frequency sound, somebody, and you can also implement basically healing itself. And yet when you start learning how to do that, oh, she talks, there cannot be a condition into your belief system. Basically, you totally have to be in the heart in order to have instantaneous manifestations and instantaneous healing. And for now, she talks about the humans, you have a difficult time to implement all that. And the reason for that is because you have to learn how to completely let go of the old systems, belief systems, in order to implement instantaneous healing. We're talking about imprint of realities. I know what she's talking about. She's talking about the fact that you have to 100% believe that this is the way for you to do it. And yet if you have to experience something, you're not going to be able to do it because, for example, you need to learn to go through the process of maybe free technology, free energy. So until you learn that, you may not go to that, but at the same time, now already you know that this is possible. So at the same time, you're training yourself, you're teaching yourself. The same way I know that is out of body experience. I know that is lucid dreaming. I trained for lucid dreaming. I did it, but then I was not allowed to do something because I have to do it from here. So that's how we're going to go from it. Thank you very much, Diana.
And now for Monica Grucher's question. She first comments, lately I was guided back to material which the so-called wingmaker provided. The meaning of the series of photonic emissions, which should peak on March 21st, was supported by the wingmakers. And now her question. Does Marina know anything about a special activation taking place on March 21st? Special photonic emissions?
They were already activated, but you're reaching the peak for it at that moment. Does that make sense? Oh, hold on. I got it instantaneous, so I have to break it down. They cannot give us at once the whole energy. The energy is being given step by step. And if you remember, I discussed for something like this, they taught us that you cannot just give somebody at once the whole energy. It has to be slowly because the molecules, they need to speed up moment to moment to moment to moment so quickly so it doesn't come out of orbit. So everything that they've been giving us, everything is a preparation for these momentums. And that is a jump into portals. The jump of the portals is basically, she's showing me different reality. So when you pick up the moment of this implementation of frequency, you actually shift timelines. This is the reason why it's given this way. It has to be step by step. If you want to run on a treadmill, you're not going to go 100 miles an hour immediately running because you're going to shoot off literally against the wall. But you have to do it slowly. And this is how the energy is implemented for us. This is how they help us step by step. That will be the peak, the summit.
Okay.
And not everybody will take it well. Not everybody, because depending on what is the consciousness level at that time, that means some people can have negative experiences because, for example, they've been totally in the negative. And when that peak comes in, it's going to challenge them, basically. It's going to be a big challenge for them. Things will come up in the surface, they say. Very much so, yes. Mm-hmm.
This question is from Damien. How do different frequencies work together in harmony? And what shapes the final frequency of the object? For example, different organs in our body vibrate at different speed, yet the healthy frequency remains within the range of 70 to 90.
They're telling me he's not giving me a specific protocol to answer this, but I know how to explain. She's going, hold on, I'm shutting one program and starting another. The modality of your vibrations on your molecule, it's different for every single one of you. The way your molecule works and vibrates in the genomes, and especially your chromosomes, we're talking about chains of chromosomes, are based on whatever is the flip of the frequency in the chromosome from the 0 point. We know this is a bit complex to explain and to understand, but understand that the chromosome is the one that is actually switching your frequency. That's because it's connected with the DNA. And it's interesting, Marina, you don't know that. Okay. I'm sorry, she was talking. When you end up switching that platforms, understand that it's giving a ripple effect, since we talk about ripple effect, through your entire frequency vibration of your consciousness that you're holding in that momentum. And that is giving you a specific spinning of the molecular structure of your molecules. This is how the resonance is basically transformed and transferred to your entire consciousness. So in order for you to heal, you have to know exactly how to do it and to switch it, and yet understand that a lot was done in your bodies from the negative side to not allow your chromosomes and DNA and RNA to switch. This is the reason why it was necessary to do so much work physically and all spiritually in order for you guys to be able to switch. You can heal, you can construct and deconstruct molecular structure to frequency and sound. Once you know and measure to each individual the frequency and sound vibration, you can construct and deconstruct different organs in a body without touching the other structure, because your entire body is connected through geometry. You can also implement frequency geometry. Measure the frequency geometry of that particular model of molecule, and you can replace it with a new one with a new resonance. Please note that the new resonance cannot be of the same structure. It has to override the old structure, but at the same time, you need to let your consciousness to accept that new frequency for itself, or will get out of orbit, the whole system will shut down, and you need a regeneration. That was the answer.
Okay, Marina. This one is from Paige Spears. Is another Trump term the only early way for things to undo politically?
No, but he's part of the structure to come to the next level. And yet we're hoping that he's going to stay on track. Remember, we talked about diversion. They're not giving me what is up with the diversion. I think something else will play out, because the way they said it, we can't give you all the playouts on what is going to be done in order to win. That's what they're saying. So I think it's more to the layers. If you remember when they told me that the House will win, they talk about blue wave, and actually the whole thing that was told, so the diversion is for the House, and the whole thing was to make everybody not to think for the Senate. And the whole thing was the Senate, the House of the Senate. That was the most important stuff, the lawyers and the Supreme Court. So they wanted everybody to focus on one thing. In the meantime, they had the time to work in the most important part. So sometimes the information that you guys are going to receive is something that is need to be given because they cannot tell us every single step they taken in order to basically push humanity and continue helping humanity. You can't give your enemy your steps, basically. And why doubt? She's asking, why doubt in your president? Do you not see how much is done? Do your research. That's what she said.
Somebody from their phone asks, what is happening on the equinox? When will we see these changes? Q, etc.
When will we see Q?
No, when will we see these changes?
They're ongoing, omnipresent, omnipotent, on and on and on. Systems are working. They never stop working. Don't you know you went through the threshold? That's what the answer is. I know what she meant. She meant that this basically frequency that he's talking about, vibrations, they never stop. It's always changing. And is sometimes it has to be help from them, from the ETs. It's always from the consciousness, it's always coming. But if something needs to be implemented more, they just doing it whatever is necessary, because with so much of manipulation done. So sometimes has to be something more, something less. Sometimes they have to pull out. Sometimes they have to do something else. It's always something changing. And they were basically, she was saying, it never stops. It's always there. It's always changing. It's always doing something. We never stop helping you, basically.
This next one is from Andy. Andy asks, what is the best way to manipulate the energy field to achieve the outcome I desire?
I'm not getting response for that question. Total shut. And and she said, we already talked about that your response, basically, she wants to say, is based on how you switch your emotion, thoughts, and deeds, and this is how you change the reality. So she was not given, in the beginning. Okay.
Our next question is coming from Joe Mayer.
So my friend and I have a distance healing modality called a Pleiadian electromagnetic therapy. It was something that was downloaded more recently to us, and we just want to know if there's any guidance from the Pleiadians for that.
Yes, when you do that, you make sure you increase the emotion when you implement that. Make sure that reaches summit of you getting a goosebumps. Remember, I talked about that. They taught us about that. Because that is a very strong potency, and the same time you're gonna feel how when you're talking, you start increasing the frequency of your body, starting to vibrate. It's almost like a goosebumps coming out. Mm-hmm. And that could be exchanged with the person, and maybe ask if the person, in order to become one unit, it has to be simultaneously done.
Thank you.
That person. So when you talk to the person, make sure your words and your expression, I know how this is done, I know what you want me to tell. So you're talking to the person and you're discussing it, but when you're discussing, you know how many times people say, Marina is so passionate, somebody thought I was upset about something. I said no, because I know that when I talk, I also project emotion because I love what I do. So that frequency of love towards me projecting, what I'm doing is I'm projecting this frequency vibration in my field, and based on that vibration, because everything is fractal, I'm shifting the next momentum into, so my next reality hologram is based on whatever I do towards you. So when I give my best, when I talk for my best, and when I feel my best, I'm creating magnetic plasma field that is my next momentum, my consciousness is shifting into, and imprinting you in it. But the whole thing is that when you have no conditions and no stuff, it's very easy to manifest. And at the same time, remember the time is fractal, that nothing else exists except me talking to you right now. Everybody else may be in the background, but the way I respond towards you and the way I put from my heart towards you without a condition is the frequency vibration that you want to seek in when you teach somebody to do this. Then that potency between your reality, their reality becomes a third unit, 1 + 1 = 3, that now you end up zapping those third reality into frequency that is so potent that boom expands into. But in order to expand, it has to be a very potent frequency. And if it's from both sides, then you have incredible manifestation, incredible results. That's why I gave a gratitude when people come and give me the opportunity to express my higher self through them. Why am I saying? Because you're not the version of me. So how dare I think that I'm more than you? I'm simply ahead of the game. And yet thanks for supporting me. Because I'm neutralizing the exchange. And I'm including the monetary also. So all that works in one unit without me giving a condition and without me taking without a permission. Because if I give you a structure of what I want, I never gave you the choice to choose freely to express your heart structure to manifest for me in my structure. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So it'd be best if all three participants were working at the same time, simultaneously.
Not only simultaneously, and let them increase to the point of the summit of generation of frequency that is really in a joy. Then you have a very potent, that one particle, that one reality particle that you all creating at the same time. You have the blueprint. You guys already talking whatever you're talking about it. Well, I want that blueprint of whatever that is, right? This is your reality to start to vibrate. Otherwise, you only have the blueprint. When you put the frequency of the joy and the love and the gratitude and you start tuning into whatever you guys creating, they're starting to vibrate. And when you increase it more and more and more, what's happening? And when is the expansion? Boom. Remember the glass? When you shatter the glass to frequency, the expansion is to that. So you gotta zip in more and more and more into it. After they do that, if you just start creating something in the momentum, the next moment has to be in their personal life, moment to moment to moment, to hold the vibration on and on and on of the action, thoughts, and deeds based on that, whatever you guys were creating, in order there parallel to become a permanent timeline outcome. Make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Way to go, Joe. All right. Thank you very much. And I'm going to put you on mute here. The next question I have is from Ilse.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Why are females more tuned in with emotions and peaceful and loving frequencies than males? Is there a reason why some of us are experiencing things as females versus males?
Yes, thanks for your question. Because you're tuning into a timelines, remember the dots of each dot is realities. You're tuning into the timelines that basically they were more of the female. And yet that is an illusion, because through a female, you could have been a warrior. Look, Joan of Arc, what she was doing. How many women you see them in a horse now and slaughtering, somebody, so depending on your timelines and everything as a collective of your realities that you collected, basically they are showing me if this was all your realities and most of them you're connecting with as a woman, all that is going to be a one molecule as a woman. So through all your stuff, you're going to be leaking information in order for you to basically create these realities. And depending on how and what you did into these timelines and parallel realities, then it's going to be a unit of your one momentum, how you're going to react in this particular situation. Does anybody understand that, or became too complex? Because sometimes I may say stuff that are not very clear, so please ask me, and I'm happy to correct. So some women could act like more male energy, is because of the realities that they were experiencing, that they agreed to experiences based on whatever they experience. So it's going to be collective understanding of how you're acting. And then that's why you have some people decided to experience to be with the same gender because they wanted to get more of that frequency before the ascension process. So that's why it should never be judgment on a gender, because they decided to experience more if they had to balance. If you being a man most of the time, you want to balance now more of the woman. So don't be surprised if you're born as a woman and you feel like you want to be with a woman, because now you want to increase, but yet at the same time, what is the energy to be with a woman or to be with the same man? So never a judgment, because you will be surprised what I discovered through sessions that you know, and people were completely released of a judgment, and they were freed from the fact that they understand that this is based on agreements and there's nothing wrong with them, except something was done through genetic manipulation. And we're talking about the roundabout and stuff like this. Any chemicals like this are poison. They changing actually the DNA, and you the chromosomes become more for male or female. And don't be surprised why a lot of these new kids and something like this is turning into want to be a woman or want to be a guy. That's because they change your DNA in a chain was activated. That's when it comes to anything of the GMO, anything the vaccines. They always told us there is more into the vaccines, and it's not only thimerosal and mercury. It was something to change your DNA, because if you know molecular structure, in the molecular structure there's a DNA that is there, and imagine you give something and that DNA is going to switch something and immediately activates completely new chain to come in, and then you act in something completely different way. It's phenomenal. But that is genetic manipulation. That could be positive, that could be negative. Again, look at through neutrality, because one person can choose to destroy and one person can choose to create. That's part of alchemy of creation. So nothing is wrong with genetically doing something, guys. It's depending, are you wishing to create or are you wishing to destroy? What are you doing with it?
This is one from somebody on the phone. Are we simultaneously on the ships as our higher selves as well as in the body?
Wow, what a good question. Yes. Remember when I was talking, hold on, let me give another stuff. That is from this structure. If you are existing in this timeline as planet Earth right now, in the meantime, where am I connecting right now? Right here, right? They're from here, but I'm creating a reality between there and mine to connect telepathically, or you can have a physically when the time is ready, when your molecular structure is vibrating in a sequence for their particular reality. But you're not going in their reality, you're creating between you and them third reality. Remember that. You're basically creating a new world that you can have a contact. Does that make sense? So yes, you simultaneously running and all this reality, and in the Pleiadian could be another version of you. Your consciousness split up in all these realities. Now we're talking about only two, but imagine they're infinite. That you're gonna talking to yourself right here, and it could be another version of you. Remember Ra, when I was channeling Ra? That was another version of me. It's part of the consciousness itself. And yet you didn't see me with a crown, so I have to put myself grounded.
All right. Marina, this next question is from Rio. Am I in a different dimension when I get sleep paralysis? Is there any way I can take advantage of it rather than have it be a scary experience?
You particularly, what was the name?
Rio.
Rio, you need help with the sleep paralysis. It's more than you think. So if anybody can do a very deep hypnosis, like a Dolores Cannon type, look into all that in there, because it's more to your deep paralysis than you think. And is not allowing the body to convert the frequency to shift to the next momentum. and that's why you become in paralysis. But it's more to you in your situation. So go to somebody. Alba Whitman, I think, is doing something like that. She's very good. Alice Cole, I think, is another one. Look at them on YouTube and maybe get a sessions with them. I don't know personally anybody else. Long time ago, somebody tried to do it and they could hypnotize me. Maybe because of what I was doing, I didn't need to know yet. But yeah, look into all that. You know, go to somebody so you can tap in.
I know Alba is very, very busy, and Allison may or may not have opportunities available, although Allison is open to doing them remotely now, so that should open up more opportunities.
Yes, I'm not familiar. I just know that they're really good. I don't want to recommend anybody without me experiencing anything like that, because, you know, I don't know. And that a lot of people are doing it, but I'm not serving you well if I just recommend somebody without me being sure about the person.
Thank you, Marina. This one is from Rachel. Rachel asks, given that what we hold to be true impacts the reality we manifest, then what is the relationship between opinion and fact or truth?
The answer is there's none. Is depending how every single moment to moment fractally you take in the information as true or not, and not everything is true if you believe that is true. Anything you believe at that moment, that's going to be true. The next moment you can go, this is the way they show me you're switching your belief system. You know, like you like something, then the next moment you don't like something, because at the next moment you decided something completely different, so that no longer resonates as previously. But what you did is shifting your reality into a brand new earth, and now the new modality of frequency is completely different, so now you chose to go in the other direction. That's moment to moment. If you want to create a permanent outcome, that means you have to be on steady vibration of the same belief system frequency in order to become to the outcome. Don't forget, you have to take the action with it.
Okay, thank you. This one is from Teresa Hall. It's kind of long. Why do politics always come into play? I feel that politics has nothing to do with our ascension. I don't care what they do. And when military gets involved, it feels like force, even if it is good. Aren't we supposed to be learning to create without force and allow? I just don't see how we can change while still putting energy and thought into these platforms. Also, you say the ETs are giving us powers, but don't the powers already exist and all we have to do is tap into it? As an example, if you vibrate love and compassion, one can allow more because it lets more in than the singularly narrowing of hate and other lower vibrations. Isn't this how it happens? Not by us being given powers by some higher being. So I'm confused because I thought we came here to know more about the God that we are.
Well, who is the higher being? The higher being is another version of you. So you're basically talking to yourself. Yes, you do need the government structures because you're doing everything as a collective, because you decided everything to be in a collective. Otherwise, you're going to be living in a planet Earth by yourself. You know, so when it's a collective, in that collective, you have bylaws that everybody follows. When things changing, of course, you want the military, because from the military, there's a positive side that wants to help humanity. If somebody comes into your platform or your reality or in your home and attacks you, would you just sit there because you want to love the person, or you're going to protect your borders? So that's why when you're dealing with the certain structures, you have to implement different type of tactics based on the realities that you're existing into in order for you to move forward. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wanted to experience planet Earth. In a planet Earth, you cannot reject the structures that are existing at the moment. But you incorporate them. Well, how do you incorporate them? Then you create realities that now you know that the military may end up helping patriotically in order to sustain humanity alive. Or The negative is in your house, which is the planet Earth, in your reality, and completely can destroy you because you didn't know how the structure works to escape the reality. You were told that everything you see is the truth. In actuality, we didn't know that whatever we believe, whatever we create, whatever we think is shifting to a reality of our choosing. We're told the opposite. So if we didn't know the proper structure, how do you really escape all that? You can't. You looping. And this is how you were manipulated. So that consciousness decided for us to experience wars, but you chose to experience that, so you know what is war. Otherwise, how would you know what is negative or positive, right? I'm talking in general. Thanks for your question. Very good question. Fair question.
Absolutely fair. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. This next one is from IRI. I believe Earth is the only planet where we have to deal with a monetary system. Will there be a time in the near future where the monetary system disappears someday?
No, they told me no, it was not. It was a lot of places that this was implemented. They said, don't forget this consciousness that control you Earth. We're talking millennials. So this was not only us. This was done through millennials and centuries. There was a consciousness that was surviving and creating worlds and taking over so somebody can support them and slave on them.
Beyond other planets?
Other planets, yeah. Other worlds, other parallel realities also. And yes, you're going to be free of monetary after the way they explained to me that now we're using the monetary because if we take in the monetary, we'll collapse. But slowly we transition in the platforms that all of a sudden you're going to see the free energy technology comes out. Then you're going to see this person is being sponsored and that scientist is building something and all the stuff until we build self-sustainable platforms of reality. That we no longer gonna see the need of exchanging anything. Right now we need to exchange because no matter what, we still are in a system, and until the system crumbles, how are we making the change? We're making the change through energy philanthropy. You're still supporting the person, but nobody's giving you condition, and if you wish to support the person, you give as much as you want. But that teaches you to get into your heart and say, that person is doing great. I want to support this person. Why do I choose to deplete that person when they give everything like that? So that we have to teach each other for this structure, guys. We really do, because the only way you're going to see abundance if you the abundance yourself, and yet you incorporate the monetary, because I couldn't reject the monetary. I had to accept it. If was given through the heart of somebody, because then I was rejecting my own structure and I couldn't do that. So if anything comes in, that's what I said, oh, if somebody gives me $10 million, I wouldn't say no. I'll say, oh yeah, I'm going to build an eco-city or whatever I'm doing, you know, because I know it was given from the heart of somebody for me to do a project. So I'm going to be very happy. I'm not going to say, oh no, I don't believe in the money. This is a transition in time, and money has no value until we give in value to. But because we were put in that structure, you can't just dissipate. I can go somewhere in the mountain and live and make my own community. Do I really want to do that? I love to dress up. I love to put the high heels, and I love society, and I love people. So of course I want to be part of that. I want to not to all disengage. I want to engage with all the stuff, but incorporating them and transition slowly through it, because then I know I have fun. I love that.
Wow, Marina.
Otherwise, if I want these earrings, I have to find a metal and I have to do it myself. I want to just go get the high heels and get it.
All right. The next question is from Monica Gruter. Do you support subtle energy transmissions working with apps to change our electronic devices into healing devices?
Yes, but has to be measured. It has to be measured. There's already technologies like that, but they were using it for negative. They're already something that can completely do something in your body, but they were using it like a energy, they call them like an energy weaponry. They know exactly how this works. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Look into that. This technology could be used for something positive, not for a negative.
I have a comment about that. I use my phone as a healing device when I listen to meditations.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, this is how you can, the way Joe said, you can, if something tune in, remember I was talking to recognize something really resonates with you, find the sound that is giving you almost like a wave of goosebumps. That really, really puts you in a vibration. Anything that puts you in that vibration, listen to it. And then, yeah, why would that be negative? That's positive. And yet somebody can give you a frequency through this device that is completely in a different level. So both ways, again, this is again unity structure, the way you choose.
Okay, this question is from Christy. Can they, presumably the Pleiadian and you, touch on the healing domes I keep seeing and walking in rainbow plasma light?
They already exist. It's in another reality. It's very, very close to manifestation, guys. That's what they told me about that.
Paige Spears would like to know, what are we creating energetically in the meeting? I think she means this meeting.
She said third reality. You're tuning into the frequency of them. This will give you a seed to start resonating in particular frequency of their channel. So when you start thinking of this or watching this video or start thinking of them or thinking of her name, you're going to start connecting with the stuff. And all of a sudden thoughts may start coming in. Situations in your life may come in to give you a video for similar stuff. We talk about it. Basically, it's planting of a seed, starting a resonance to activate your consciousness and body into it. And from there, personally, you're going to have your own experiences in your reality, as long as you're tuning into that morality. Right now, you're just being given the zapping, but how long is that going to be is all up to you, depending on how you're tuning into. 5 minutes, Joe.
We have a next question from Diana. There are videos on YouTube which use sound coded with the frequencies of stem cells, hormones, along with morphogenic fields and psychic work. Are these reliable? For example, they have sounds which assist with hair growth. Are these a way of sound healing?
Anything is a sound. It could be a healing. They say we don't recommend that if you don't know if this is resonating with you, because your molecular structure is different. How do you know that this resonance it's specifically for you? The quantum and the nano, when it's a technology, just one thing they give me, when you have a technology that can measure directly, it's going to be like a life structure, and the moment you get in, reads your body and can immediately know how to tune in the frequency in order for your particular healing. That will not be the same for the next person. So my answer is I cannot guarantee if these frequencies are okay for you. If you find a frequency that resonates with you and puts you in a state of frequency, the way I talk of goosebumps, that's how your consciousness is recognizing that this works for you. Anything else, I cannot guarantee.
To summarize that, if it feels good to you, it's going to be good for you.
Yeah, to put it this way, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Look for the one that gives you waves and immediately you get almost like a goosebumps. You guys know what I talk about.
Okay, this one is from Trish. I've been given an exercise to harmonize chaos, that's in quotes, which is basically working with the plasma field from my guides. This is based on 4 directions, physicality, and the 4 winds, energies from the ether or waters. Then bring in 9 energies of consciousness or creation. This relates to the diamond shape you drew and I saw in real life. Do you know what this is? I need to pop. Do you know what this is?
I'm not familiar with that type of, I'm not taught this way. So I don't know. The answer is no. I don't know what that is. That is a new way, the way, for example, they are teaching you how to implement in your reality. Practice on that and see what happens. Until you see the results of that, the only way you're going to know how that works if you implement it in your platform and see if that works. This is how I was taught. Everything I talk about it, I was taught physically. And I know it works.
Okay, this one is from DORYD under 5. Are Royal Rife frequencies, YouTube channels, okay?
Yes, but they were changed. I cannot guarantee you there were the Rife frequencies there. If you watch the original video of Royal Rife, I think was shut down from YouTube, but I don't know if it's there anymore. And there they were saying how from Germany they wanted to buy the machine when they saw that it's completely healing cancer and everything else. When they received the machine in Germany, the frequencies, most of them or some of them did not work. So I cannot guarantee you what they have right now. I don't know what this video is. It was a documentary of 2 hours and something. Now I see 5 hours, but I don't know if this information is there. Well, thank you. Is last question, Joe?
We'll end on this note. It's kind of appropriate. Are there any crystals which resonate with Pleiadian energies?
Sapphire.
I was waiting for you to say it again. Sapphire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know how to say it. Just my Bulgarian. Guys, I want to thank you so much for your support. I definitely want to thank everybody that donated today. Next time, I'm going to tell everybody's name because I want to honor your support in the video. And I wish you love and luck throughout the day. And thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate everything you guys do. I love you all. Joe, love you, man. Thank you.
Likewise, Marina. Hey, everybody, unmute your video if you want to show up on the video that I edit for the channel. I'm going to put everybody on unmute so you can say goodbye. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Marina.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Joe. Love you guys.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
so much. Thank you for guys. Oh, somebody's on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marina.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Welcome. I don't know who that was, but you are welcome. Okay. Hey, Bruna.
Thank you so much.
Bruna, I've been watching you play with your hair the entire time.
What did you say?
All right, everybody.
Guys.
I think we got every single question, and if we missed one that was unintentional, thank you for joining us. And once again, we appreciate your generosity. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.